There he is.
How's it going?
Hey, how are you, brother?
Man, it's great to talk to you. Walkmore Breezy's here with me.
That's awesome, man. Well, this doesn't really have much to do with you, but somebody asked, could I bring you on like via a link? And I said, yeah, I think so. So I wanted to see if you would jump on. But Rev, we need to do the UFO show on here like as soon as possible.
Oh, dude, what's happening in the last few months has been unbelievable. I don't understand how it's not the biggest story, not in the United States, but in the whole world. It's so frustrating to me. I mean, since we did the last podcast, it's like people just cease to talk about it. And now there's so much information, so many people coming forward. We're starting to see people like Bob Lazar looking like they're going to be vindicated after all these years. It's frustrating to me. I don't know if it's just that that people don't want to believe it, or if it's they just trust the government so much that even when the government comes out and tells them something that discloses something they don't want to believe. I don't understand it. Why do you think no one cares that this is happening?
Because I think we've become so tribal that so everyone is so wrapped up in we are fighting the fight of our lives, both morally and ethically in this country and everywhere else, that narcissism is bloomed completely in a way we never thought that it would, and the aliens don't fit that fucking I cannot make aliens all about myself as easily as I can make who you're going to vote for, or whether or not you're a communist or a fascist or whatever the fuck that it is. Yeah. The crazy part about this, though, Rev, and this is where we're really pushing the limits. This fucking guy Grush, I watched a video today. I don't know if you saw, I tweeted it. A guy went and had 12 different people come to him and corroborate that story and say, yeah, we've got multiple craft. And by the way, we have a body. And the second there is an alien body anywhere in custody, everybody should fucking cease the, that's grainy video. I don't believe those lights. That could be anything. That's something we all need to be focusing on.
Man, and by all accounts, this guy is highly regarded, beyond reproach. There's no real reason for him to come forward and put his good name and his career on the line. It makes no sense. Someone told me the other day, they said, well, he's maybe going to try to sell a book. And I said, how much is a book on this going to be worth? The news won't even cover it. I mean, he's going to sell a few books and then trade his entire career for it. I mean, who reads books anyway? It's not, it doesn't make sense.
Well, it's also, he's going to write a book on what? He just gave us all the meat. Like, he gave us all the juicy details.
He testified before Congress. Yeah. He testified before Congress under oath. I mean, that's a crime if it's not true. He committed a crime. Here's a felony.
The one part, though, and Rogan said this, he's like, what you also have to take into account is that it's very possible government agent, very possible. I don't know anything about that. Was it Newsmax? I forgot who went on, where he went on. But it was like a situation where, is that funded by the government? Like, is this a disinformation campaign because we're not supposed to look at X, Y, and Z? Like, I feel like that's always something that we have to take into account.
Well, I mean, let's say this. Let's say it is, right? Let's say it's a vast disinformation campaign. Let's say this whole thing has been a misdirection, right? Let's say the videos that the Air Force and the Navy released the last few years, let's say it's all disinformation. That alone should be the biggest story, right? I mean, that in and of itself, why would the government be doing that then? Let's talk about this. That alone should make it the biggest story in the world right now. And I got in an argument last night with a guy, actually, because he was kind of saying similar stuff. And I said, man, what is the reason? What's the reason? Why would if the government really wants to he was talking about military industrial complex and wanting, it's like, no, that's not how it works. We would just get ourselves in another war. Right. That's what we've always done. And because the whole United States will be behind that. We always are. You can't even get people to talk about this. The New York Times won't touch it. The Washington Post won't touch it.
Which is weird because the way this whole conversation, and Ant-Man's here. Hello, Ant-Man. How are you, by the way, bud?
Good, guys.
Ant-Man.
What up, Rev?
The thing that's so crazy about this also is the reason why we're having these conversations and it's so socially acceptable is because those mainstream media outlets finally decided to bring the conversation up and give it authenticity. And now that we have way more knowledge and way more detail and we know vastly more than we did, they've all withdrawn again because they're going back to their tribalism. They're going back to there's an election cycle coming up. And to defend them for a second, Rev, which I hate doing, maybe it doesn't drive the clicks. Maybe fucking aliens don't get as many clicks as Donald Trump is a fascist. And so they have a job to do, and they're going to want to fucking make their money. So unfortunately, it could be as simple as all that as well.
You know, you might be right. Usually it is as simple, you know, when people tell me, they say, well, why has it been a secret? You know, and they'll say, you know, you have people theorize, maybe it's because it'll upset the fabric of our society. Or no, I don't believe any of that. I think the reason it's been kept a secret is because we had technology that we wanted to reverse engineer before the Russians or the Chinese or anyone else did, because whoever was able to reverse engineer that was going to control the world in a way that is unprecedented, you know, millennia into the future, right? That's as simple as that. And you say, well, how do you keep it a secret? Well, if you put the fear of that into people's minds, say, look, if we disclose this, if this technology were reverse engineered by someone else before we do, it will destroy us. That's a pretty strong argument,
yes,
right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's it. It's as simple as that. I don't think it's any more complex than that. I think that's all it is. Right. I don't think that there's any kind of like, oh, we're afraid it's going to upset the fabric of our society. No, I don't think that's it. I think it's just simply about that. If that technology so far into the future, so far advanced, then and think about it, it would. I mean, if you could take a micronation, and if suddenly they had craft that was, you know, operating 10,000 years into the future, they could control the planet.
Right.
You know, I mean, it wouldn't even have to be a superpower. If you reverse engineer gravity propulsion, and you are now the superpower, right?
100%. Whoever masters that technology first will be able to control. I mean, they'll have transmedium craft. They'll have fucking. All right, look, we're blowing our loads. When can you this week? Are you guys out on tour? Where are you at right now?
Brother, I leave for Europe tomorrow.
Jesus. Of course you do. Of fucking course you do. Well, how is the internet in Europe? I can't imagine.
It's not bad. I mean, you know, and actually, I'm going to have my phone on. It's not going to work at 100% because, you know, just the nature of the situation. But I'm going to be mostly in Western Europe. I'm paying to have my phone on. There's Wi-Fi. Now, the time is going to be, you know, between my normal sleep schedule and being 6 hours ahead, it's going to be a mess. But we've got to get this figured out because it's incredible what's happening.
Yeah.
Give me 24 hours notice when you're going to have like a 4-hour chunk in the next week, and I won't be able to promote it as much as I like, but we'll make it happen, and then people can check out the replay or whatever afterwards. Is that cool?
Yeah, that sounds good. And we'll take some of that communication into text and stuff, so we won't bore these folks with it.
Did you see that Kenny Kidd is playing the Big Damn Band on a regular basis, man?
Yes, I love it, man. I've been retweeting every time he posts it.
Dude, last night I was listening. I forgot he was playing. I think he was playing Ways and Means, and I just like, what the fuck? Like, it always catches me. I'm like, oh, this is great. It's a meeting of the worlds.
And I love that there's Ways and Means too, because that you know, as an artist, you know, you always want more people to hear your art, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that Ways and Means wasn't the absolute biggest thing we ever did absolutely pissed me off. Like legitimately made me mad.
I love that. All right. Let's give me a text and then give Breezy my best, and let's work it out for this week. All right.
Absolutely, brother. Thanks so much.
There he is, Rev Peyton, everybody.
Hey, Rev.